Okay, in this video we're going to learn a couple of the things to start getting ready for our official Resurrection paper plane build. So the first thing that you're going to need is some goose paper. I don't know if you've heard that term before, but the letters of the word goose stand for good on one side. I don't know what the E would be. Anyway, maybe it's just G-O-O-S. Good on one side. So this has got some writing on it, which is perfectly fine. The other side's blank. And this will help me because when we create our paper plane design, when we print our design, it'll only have that design on one side. So this will show us, once it's folded, the different sides. And it doesn't really matter which way we do it. You get to pick what type of plane you want to fold. Here is one that I folded based upon, we've got a couple schematas, or I guess instructions. This one's called the Ladybug. So I tried making the Ladybug here following their instructions. The nice thing about using one of the instruction templates that we have is that when I do my redesign, we've got to build instructions for these paper airplanes as well. This one, I can adapt this instruction and copy and paste it into Photoshop and change it for my design. You could make your own. So I was saying, here's an easy one. This is a simple fold paper airplane. This is your generic, regular paper airplane. You'll notice there is the writing on the other side. And the white in this case is what is the most seen. Here is another one, a little bit trickier, not too tricky though. Sometimes people like those flaps on the side and that it will give us something. Now, the one thing is, I don't know if this back part here of the plane, because there's no writing on it, it might not be the side that gets printing. So, what we want to do is we want to grab some markers. They don't necessarily have to be the Resurrection colors, but eventually we're going to want to make these Resurrection planes. So if this is the one I'm going to look at first, maybe I want right there on the wing that's flapping up an R, the Resurrection R. So I'm going to draw that on. And I would go get the logo later, but this is just an idea. So you can see there I put the R on the flap. Now maybe I want the bottom to be black. So maybe ooh, my black's not working. I'm gonna grab another black here. And it doesn't need to, this one's not super good. It doesn't need to work super good, but it does need to be able to put some color on there. So there is the bottom black. I'm gonna color this side the bottom black, because this isn't gonna end up being our good copy. This is just us figuring out what's going on. Maybe I want up here, it would look cool if the bottom is black and this part up here is the red from the R. So I'm gonna color in the top, just put some red on there. Now this back part here might need to be white because it might be on the back of the paper. I'm gonna color it just to see, or maybe I'll put some big X's on it just to see where that is. So what I've got now is black. I could even put black maybe on the bottom of the wing. Maybe I'll do that too. If you want to, a lot of the people who have created planes already have named them. So if you wanted to name yours something, and I can show you those at the end, like the Phoenix or something like that, maybe you want the name of it on the side. You can decide. So now that we have it all marked up, we know where we want things. I'm gonna unfold this paper airplane and see what's happening here. Okay, so what I notice is those X's are still on the same side of the paper. So I could make that whole top of the plane red if I wanted to. And it's easy in Photoshop. Let me see if I can get a better view here. It's easy in Photoshop, remember our fill, to fill this whole area here. So I might make this whole thing red. And mark it like that. And now I know in Photoshop, I've got to make a design where most of it is red. This whole part here and a couple little triangles here are red. The bottom part down here is black, and I have to get the symbols. One looks like it'd be right side up, one looks like it'd be upside down onto those wings. That's my first part. This is my plan. I've got all the folds. Hopefully I remember how to fold it, because I gotta fold it back up, and once I create the airplane I gotta fold it back up. But this is my initial plan. I might even take a picture of this as the initial design steps of my plan. Now, that was the trickier one. Again, if you're doing one like this, I can see right here, this part will have to be white. Okay, so try and choose one that maybe I want red. Maybe I want down here the Res logo right at the front. Res logo, Res logo, and maybe I want the bottom all black. Instead of coloring the whole thing in, I'm just going to put big X's. So you can see it there. There's the bottom. And I'm thinking maybe I want a pattern even. Pattern would be cool. There's the red on the top that I want. Now when I unfold this plane, I can see where I need to build stuff in Photoshop. This shows me that the whole middle part going out to the corners has got to be black. This part up here doesn't really matter, so on Photoshop I may as well just fill this whole side in with red. May as well. And then try and get the R's lined up here, the resurrection R's, so that once it's folded, it comes together. Now, you can take measurements on this to get it lined up perfectly. The more you do ahead of time, the less you got to do after. And what I mean by that is, once we design it in Photoshop, we can print it out, refold it, and see if everything lines up where we want it. We may need to go back in and make some adjustments to where things lie. Another idea is if you use this ladybug one, we've got some ideas for different concepts on there. We can go and import this design. So that is when you create this, when you fold this, it turns into this plane right here. Now, I didn't fold one with using the template, but if I use the template, it should look like those colors appearing in those spots. They did the same thing. They folded it like this. They designed where they wanted the colors, unfolded it, created that template. Now that is the template for folding that ladybug plane. Okay, we want to do something very similar. So this video is just to get you thinking, getting you set up. A little bit later, I'll show you another video where we're designing it in Photoshop. So hopefully that helps.